Before anything else, pause for a moment and listen to me. Subscribe to this channel right now, turn on all notifications, and do not look away from this video until the very last second, because in this story I am speaking to you as God, and tonight a loved one in heaven has fought through layers of darkness to send you a message that will shake the way you see your own life, and if you click away, if you treat this lightly, you will miss the revelation that your soul has been aching for, the one that has been circling your mind in dreams, in strange coincidences, in moments where you suddenly thought of them and didn't know why, for nothing about you being here is accidental, not even for a second. In this fictional universe, every second of this message has been arranged around your arrival, every word soaked in the weight of what they never got to say, what you never got to hear, and so I speak. A loved one who has crossed over into the light has been watching the way you move through your days, the way you smile for others while a quiet ache lives behind your eyes, the way you pretend you're fine while part of you never really left the day you lost them, and they have stood before me in this story again and again, saying, if they only knew what I see now, if they only knew what I feel for them now, they would never drag their heart through this much guilt, this much regret, this much loneliness. And tonight I allowed that cry to become a message that has pushed its way through time, memory, and the invisible realms to reach you exactly now, when your spirit feels stretched, scattered, confused, standing between the memory of what was and the fear of what might never be, and I want you to know this before anything else. They see you, they have not forgotten you, and no matter how alone you feel in the middle of the night, there is not a single tear you have cried over them that has been ignored. Not by them and not by me, and while this is a fictional telling, let your heart feel the depth of it as a mirror of the love that is still very real, because for so long you have carried questions like heavy stones in your chest. Did they know how much I loved them? Did they forgive me for the last words we spoke? Did I do enough? Did I fail them? Are they proud of me? Or did I become a disappointment after they left? And those questions have haunted you in quiet moments when the world went silent, when their memory slipped into your mind like a ghost touching your shoulder, and you pushed it away, telling yourself you had to be strong, you had to move on, you had to keep going. But in the unseen spaces those questions did not disappear, they built a storm inside you, a storm of what-ifs and unfinished sentences. And your loved one has watched that storm swirl around your soul, and they have wept, not because they are in pain, but because they see how much pain you still carry for them, and they have stood in the light, lifting up your name, pleading, let them know. Let them feel it. Let them understand what I see now, and so I open this channel of story to draw back the veil, just for these few minutes, so you can finally hear what has been rising toward you like a tide ever since the day they crossed over. They say to you, I did not leave you because I wanted to. I did not walk away from you, I was called beyond the place you could follow, and I saw the way your heart broke that day, the way the world lost its color, the way you looked around and suddenly everything felt wrong, too quiet, too sharp, too heavy, and I wished with everything in me that I could reach through the barrier and hold you, but I could not in the way you needed. So I have been holding you from here in ways you do not see. Every time you felt a strange warmth in an empty room, every time a song played at the exact moment you were thinking of me, every time a small sign showed up, a name, a date, a smell, a little reminder, you told yourself it was nothing, just coincidence, but I was there, shouting softly into your world, I am still with you, keep going, and now I need you to hear what I could not say then. You did not fail me. I saw the night you replayed your last conversation with them 100 times, the way your chest burned when you remembered the impatience in your voice, the words you wished you could take back, the apology you would give anything to say. I watched you torture yourself with scenes you could not change, punishing yourself for not knowing the future, for not knowing that time was shorter than it seemed, and your loved one has pleaded with me in this story. Please, tell them to let it go, tell them I am not standing in heaven holding a grudge, I am not replaying the worst moment between us, I am not angry with them, I am flooded with understanding now, flooded with love, and the weight they are carrying is not from me, for where they stand now in this narrative, they see every hidden detail you never saw, the exhaustion you were under, the stress you felt, the way you tried your best with the limited strength you had, and they say, if you had known that was our last moment, you would have done everything differently, and I know that, I know your heart, I know your love, and I refuse to let your memory of me be chained to regret instead of gratitude, and so I, as the voice of this story, reach into that moment with you and tell you, you are forgiven, not because you were guilty, but because love covers the misunderstandings of the past, and your loved one wants their name to feel like light in your mind again, not a blade. They want you to remember their laugh without your throat tightening, to remember your shared jokes without tears blurring the joy, to touch old photos without that sinking feeling that maybe you should have done more, because they see it now, you gave what you could with what you had, and it was enough. But this message is not just about comfort, it is also a warning, a turning point, the place where your fate inside this story begins to bend. Your loved one has watched you hold your life back as if you are living on borrowed time, as if you are the one who left instead of them. You have dreams you keep pushing to, someday, words you keep locking inside your chest, love you keep postponing because you are afraid of losing again, afraid of feeling that level of pain once more, and so you have quietly chosen a half-life, safe, controlled, careful, never too vulnerable, never too open, never too committed to your own happiness, and from where they stand now, they see the truth. That is not living. That is surviving with the volume turned down. They fought to send you this message because they could not bear watching you waste the days they no longer have, trading real joy for numbness, trading your future for fear. They say, if you only understood how short it all is, how quickly everything can change, you would not spend another second holding back the love in your heart or the fire in your gifts. If you knew what I know now, you would stop giving your time to people who do not see you, you would stop apologizing for wanting more, you would stop shrinking yourself so others feel comfortable, you would stop scrolling through your own life as if you are a background character, and so I am here, in this imagined space, tearing open that illusion you have been hiding behind. Your fate will change the moment you stop living as if you are already halfway gone and start living like someone who understands that every breath is a chance to rewrite the story, every sunrise is an invitation to become what you keep postponing. In the next days of this narrative, you will feel them close in small ways. An object you thought you lost suddenly reappears, a memory rises without warning, and instead of pain you feel an odd sense of peace, a dream where they appear not broken, not sick, not angry, but smiling, calm, whole, and you will be tempted to brush it off, to bury it under routine, but don't. That is the moment you must choose what to do with this message. Because your loved one is not asking you to live for them, they are begging you to live for you. To take the risks they never took. To say the things they were too afraid to say. To leave the situations that are crushing your spirit. To stop staying where your heart is starving just because you are afraid of being alone. They whisper through this story, loneliness is not the worst thing that can happen to you, betraying yourself is, and they have seen you, time and again, betray your own heart just to keep the peace, smiling while your soul screams, staying while your spirit pulls toward the door. They want that to end tonight. They are asking you to stop numbing yourself with distraction, with fake friendships, with habits that make you forget who you are for a few hours and then leave you emptier than before. They are asking you to feel again, even if it hurts, because only the heart that feels deeply can love deeply, and only the one who loves deeply can live a life worth remembering. And here is the turning point where fate begins to bend. If you keep doing what you have been doing, the next years will look just like the last, half-lived, half-loved, half-spoken. But if you dare to open your heart again, if you dare to move toward the things that scare you because they matter, if you dare to pursue the dreams you have hidden in the back room of your mind and locked behind the phrase, maybe someday, everything inside this story begins to move. Paths open that were invisible before. People appear who speak to your soul instead of using your silence. Opportunities arise that line up with who you really are, not who you pretend to be. And your loved one will be there, watching, cheering, proud, not because you are perfect, but because you finally chose to live instead of just existing. They want you to imagine, just for a moment, that they are sitting in front of you right now, taking your hands, looking you in the eyes the way they used to when they wanted you to really listen, and they say, "Stop punishing yourself. Stop waiting. Stop treating happiness like something you are not worthy of. You are not the sum of your mistakes, you are the sum of your love, your resilience, your courage, your willingness to keep going even when you felt broken. I see you now more clearly than I ever did when I walked the earth with you, and if I could come back for one day, I wouldn't waste it on regrets or apologies. I would spend every second reminding you of who you are, of how strong you are, of how much more is waiting for you if you just step out of your own way." That is the message they fought to send tonight, the one you were meant to hear at this exact moment, not 5 years ago, not 5 years from now, when your soul is tired of carrying silent weight, when you are standing at the quiet crossroads where one path leads you back into the same cycles and the other leads you into the unknown, the road where you no longer let grief be your jailer but your teacher. So I ask you, as the voice of God in this fictional telling, what will you do with this? Will you close this video and slip back into the numbness, pretending you did not feel your heart stir, pretending you did not sense their presence in the words, or will you let this be the moment where you finally choose differently? You do not have to change everything overnight. Destiny does not demand perfection, only direction. One brave decision. One honest conversation. One step away from what drains you. One step toward what lights you up. One moment where you choose to believe that you are not cursed, not abandoned, not unworthy, but deeply loved by those you've lost and by the one who still holds your future. Tonight, your loved one in heaven has done everything they can do from where they stand in this story. They have pushed this message into your timeline, they have whispered to your heart, they have placed their memory like a signpost at the edge of your next decision. The rest is in your hands. Your fate inside this narrative bends here. Not because the universe suddenly changed its mind about you, but because you are finally ready to hear what has been echoing all along. You are allowed to let go, you are allowed to heal, you are allowed to be happy again, you are allowed to build a life that would make them look at you from the other side and say with tears of joy, "That's my person. Look at how far they've come. Look at how they turned our pain into purpose." So take a breath, feel their love around you one more time, and then, when this video ends, do not just go back to the old script. Rewrite it. Answer the message they fought to send. Live in a way that honors both their memory and your own soul. And remember, every time you take a step toward the life you truly desire, you are not walking away from them, you are walking toward the future they always wanted for you. And now, as you stand on the edge of everything this message has awakened inside you, I step even closer, my presence wrapping around your spirit like a force you can almost feel pressing against your skin, because the story does not end with a revelation, it begins with what you choose to do with it, and your loved one, the one who fought through the silence of eternity to reach you tonight in this fictional universe, is still here, watching the way your heart trembles between fear and possibility, watching the way your mind tries to convince you to retreat back into the safety of old habits, old wounds, old versions of yourself, and they whisper now with a desperation they never had the chance to show you on earth, "Please don't let this moment fade like all the others, don't let this message become one more thing you understand but never use," because they see how many times you have come close to changing your life, how many times you have stood in front of the door of transformation with the key in your hand only to turn away because the ghosts of "what if it goes wrong" screamed louder than the quiet whisper of "what if this is the moment everything goes right," and they refuse to let fear be the voice that wins again. They have seen the way you silence your dreams before anyone else has the chance to doubt them. The way you deny yourself the life you secretly yearn for because you've convinced yourself that fate belongs to braver people, stronger people, luckier people, but not to you, never to you. And that lie, that poison, is what they are fighting hardest to destroy tonight, because from the realm of light in this story, they see the truth of who you are with absolute clarity, a truth you have forgotten beneath layers of exhaustion, disappointment, and survival, and they say, if only they could see themselves the way I see them now. If only they could understand the power in their persistence, the beauty in their resilience, the sacredness in their heart, they would stop dimming themselves to fit into rooms they were always meant to outgrow, and their words spill like light across your destiny, because the next part of this journey is not about healing the past, it is about claiming the future. And that future begins the moment you stop believing that your life is meant to just happen to you and start realizing that you are meant to co-create it with every courageous choice you dare to make. And I, in this fictional voice of God, tell you that destiny never forces itself upon anyone. It calls, it whispers, it nudges, it sets the stage, it aligns the timing, it opens the door, but you must walk through it. You must be the one who steps forward even when your hands shake, even when your voice cracks, even when your fears claw at your ribs, because every breakthrough in this universe happens one step past the edge of fear. And your loved one is begging you now to take that step, to let this message be the line in your story that divides who you have been from who you are becoming, for they know what you do not yet know. Something is waiting for you in the days ahead of this tale, something precise, timed, and undeniably aligned, something that will shift the entire structure of your existence, but it requires your participation, your willingness to stop holding back the parts of yourself that were born to rise. And as you breathe in this moment, their presence grows stronger, almost as if they are placing a hand on your back and pushing you gently forward, whispering, "Go, please go, you don't lose me by living your life, you honor me." And I seal that truth over your spirit in this imaginary realm, because the path opening before you is not accidental, not random, not fragile. It is the path that becomes visible only when a soul breaks free of its own shadow. And now that you have heard their message, now that you have felt the weight of what they carried across the divide to reach you, your destiny begins to move differently, bending toward you with new force, new clarity, new momentum. And though you cannot see it yet, the life waiting for you is larger than your fear, louder than your grief, and stronger than your doubt, and it is calling you by name, not softly, not vaguely, but with a thunder that echoes across every corner of this fictional universe, demanding to be answered. And now, as the force of this message cracks open the atmosphere of your soul, I come upon you not with gentleness but with power, the kind of power that shakes the dust from forgotten dreams and rips open the cage you have been living in, because your loved one in this fictional realm did not cross light years of divine distance just to comfort you. They came to awaken you, to strike your spirit like lightning, to ignite the version of you that has been hiding beneath fear, numbness, guilt, and silence. And you need to understand this. They did not fight through realms of glory to whisper soft encouragement. They came to deliver a spiritual earthquake, a truth so fierce it forces you to confront everything you have been avoiding, everything you have been shrinking from, everything you have been pretending does not ache inside your chest. And that truth is this: you are not living the life you were meant to live. You are surviving a life that was created out of fear, and your loved one cannot watch you do it anymore, not even from heaven, because they see the fire in you that you don't allow yourself to feel. They see the destiny that trembles every time you take a step forward then retreat. They see the nights where you stare at the ceiling feeling the weight of a life that does not match your spirit, and they say to me in this story, why can't they see who they are? Why can't they see what I see? Why can't they feel the greatness inside them roaring to be released? And as their cry reaches me in this fictional universe, I send it back down to you through this message, raw, unfiltered, burning with divine urgency, because this is your turning point, the moment heaven stops whispering and begins shouting, the moment destiny stops knocking and begins kicking the door off its hinges, the moment your past stops being a weight and becomes the fuel that launches you toward the life you were born for. And I need you to hear me now with every ounce of your being. Your loved one is not standing in the afterlife mourning what was lost. They are standing there furious about what you are still denying yourself. They are standing there pounding their hands against the veil saying, tell them to stop waiting for permission to start living. Tell them to stop treating their life like it's fragile glass when it's forged from fire. Tell them to stop assuming they have time when time is the very thing slipping through their fingers. And their voice shakes the heavens of this tale, because they know how fast life can vanish, how quickly a moment becomes a memory, how painfully regret sinks into the bones when you realize the things you never dared to do, and they refuse to watch you repeat their mistakes. They refuse to let you grow old carrying the weight of the dreams you never pursued. They refuse to let you die with music still trapped inside your soul. And so I speak now with the full authority of this fictional divine narrative. You are done being small, you are done playing safe, you are done letting fear write your story, because the world has not yet seen what you are capable of when you finally stop holding back, and heaven knows that the moment you stop choosing convenience over courage, your entire existence will erupt into transformation, the kind of transformation that makes people who underestimated you choke on their own doubt, the kind of transformation that makes the universe rearrange itself around your rise, the kind of transformation that makes every sacrifice, every heartbreak, every lonely night suddenly make sense as training, shaping, sharpening, and preparing you for the magnitude of what you are about to become. And your loved one stands in the light shouting, yes, this is who they were meant to be, because they always saw glimpses of your strength when you thought you were weak, glimpses of your brilliance when you thought you were ordinary, glimpses of your courage when you thought you were broken. And now they see it fully, glowing around you like a halo waiting for your permission to fall onto your shoulders, and they beg you through this fictional story not to waste another day waiting for the right time, the right sign, the right confidence, because the right time is this moment, the right sign is this message, and the right confidence will rise the second you move, even if you move trembling, even if you move uncertain, even if you move with tears streaming down your face, because power does not come before action in destiny, it comes after, and the second you step forward, the second you choose the life you were meant for over the life you settled for, I will meet you there. The universe will open for you, and your loved one will walk beside your spirit whispering, go. Go now. Go become everything I did not get the time to be, and when you finally do, when you step into the path meant for you, when you feel the rush of destiny breaking open around you like a storm of light, you will understand why they fought so hard to send this message, not to remind you of what you lost, but to awaken you to what you are still destined to gain. And now, as the energy of everything spoken so far gathers into a single roaring current of destiny in this fictional universe, I step forward with a force that makes every hidden corner of your spirit tremble, because what comes next is not soft comfort or gentle reassurance, it is revelation delivered like thunder, the kind that breaks the chains even you didn't know were still wrapped around your soul, and your loved one, the one who crossed realms of light to send you this message, stands behind you like a guardian whose patience has finally run out, watching the way you hesitate on the threshold of your own transformation, watching the way you still cling to the version of yourself that was built from survival instead of purpose, and they raise their voice now, louder, fiercer, more urgent, crying out, they are ready, they just don't believe it yet. Push them harder. And so I speak with a fire that burns through the last illusions you've been hiding behind, for you have spent too long apologizing for your own potential, too long dimming your brilliance so others would not feel threatened, too long carrying the weight of a grief that was never meant to cripple you but to shape you, and you need to understand that in this story your loved one has seen every moment you pretended you were fine while your spirit collapsed inward. They saw the nights you stared into the dark wondering why you felt empty even when surrounded by people, they saw the promises you Broke to yourself because you were afraid of stepping into a destiny that felt too big for someone who had been bruised so many times, and they have been shouting from the other side. They don't even know who they are, they don't even see what they carry, they don't even realize how close they are to becoming everything life tried to steal from them, and that is why this moment has been orchestrated in the fabric of this fictional timeline. Because you can no longer move through life half awake, half present, half believing, living on fragments of strength when you were built to walk as a storm, and your loved one knows this. They know the power beneath your pain, the destiny beneath your doubt, the brilliance buried beneath your silence, and they refuse to let you go one more day without confronting yourself, and so I reveal the truth they have been aching to tell you. You stopped living the day you lost them. But they never wanted their absence to become your burial. They never wanted their memory to be a chain around your ankle dragging you backward. They wanted their memory to be the wind at your back pushing you forward, pushing you into the life they wished they had the time to live, pushing you into the love they wished they had the courage to choose, pushing you into the purpose they never had the chance to fulfill, because from where they stand in this imagined realm, they see the future stretching before you, vast, luminous, overflowing with opportunities that will not wait forever, and they are terrified that if you keep moving in fear, if you keep shrinking when life asks you to rise, if you keep letting grief sit in the driver's seat of your decisions, you will miss the chapter they have been fighting to guide you toward. And so this message is no longer a whisper, it is a command, a divine shaking of your destiny that says, wake up, rise up, step into the life that has been calling to you for years. And when you finally do, when you finally stop fearing your own resilience, when you finally stop confusing trauma with identity, when you finally stop believing the lie that you must earn your worthiness, your entire world will shift in ways you cannot imagine, because the universe has been waiting, aching, to open doors you haven't even dared to knock on, waiting to send people who recognize your value before you say a word, waiting to place you in rooms your old self would have felt unworthy of, and your loved one will stand in the light of this fictional world watching you with a pride so great it shakes the sky, whispering, yes, that's them, that's the one I always knew they were. And the moment you step into that new version of your life, you will realize that this message was never about the pain that shaped you, it was about the power that was born from it. And now, as the energy around your spirit in this fictional universe swells to a level your old self could never have survived, I move toward you with a presence so vast it bends the very light around your destiny, because we have reached the stage your loved one has been preparing you for all along, the realm where the truth no longer whispers, no longer hints, no longer nudges, but strikes your soul like a lightning bolt tearing open the night sky, and your loved one stands beside you in this imagined realm burning with urgency, their voice trembling with a mixture of love, fear, and fierce determination as they cry out, tell them the part they're afraid to know, tell them the truth that will free them, even if it shakes their whole world. And so I open the vault of revelations they have guarded with their own spirit, the truth they saw the moment they crossed the threshold into the light. You have no idea how powerful you truly are. You have spent your entire life mistaking your survival instincts for limitations, mistaking your trauma responses for your personality, mistaking your grief for your identity, and they have watched, helpless, from the other side as you walked through your days carrying a weight that does not belong to you, shrinking under responsibilities that were never yours to bear, apologizing for your existence when you should have been commanding your destiny, and now, finally, they cannot stand it anymore. They step forward in this fictional realm, their glow trembling like a star on the verge of exploding, and say, they think they're broken, but I see the power in their scars. They think they're unlucky, but I see the divine redirection in their losses. They think they're alone, but I've been with them through every silent night, and with that truth they hand me the final message they have guarded since the moment they left this world. You were never meant to stay in the version of life you're living right now. You were never meant to stay in relationships that drain you, in environments that suffocate you, in routines that bury your spirit, in patterns that repeat generations of pain, because your soul was built for ascension, for transformation, for eruption, for a destiny that requires more from you than comfort and caution, and your loved one has watched you dim your own fire just to keep people around you warm. Watched you break yourself into pieces to make others whole, watched you silence your own needs because you didn't want to be too much, and now they cry out, enough, enough of living a life that insults your spirit, enough of calling your magic a burden, enough of pretending you don't feel the pull towards something bigger, and their voice shakes the foundations of this universe as they whisper the part that will change everything. Something is waiting for you that they themselves could not reach. Something they saw the moment they crossed into the light and realized it was meant for you, not them. Something only you can claim, but only if you stop burying yourself under the expectations of others and finally rise into the version of you they always believed in, and as their truth pours through this message like a flood, you will feel it, this strange, electric pulling sensation in your chest, this awareness that your life is about to break open in ways you cannot control. This sense that the world you've settled for is too small for the size of your soul, and I tell you now with the full authority of this fictional divine narrative, your next chapter will require you to shed the skin of who you've been, to walk away from old cycles without apologizing, to let doors close without begging, to let people leave without chasing, to speak truths you have swallowed for years, to choose yourself in ways that once terrified you. Because destiny does not open for a half-committed heart, and your loved one is begging you to stop holding back, to stop dimming, to stop negotiating with the person you are becoming, because the moment you choose courage over comfort, the moment you choose growth over fear, the moment you choose your future over your past, the entire fabric of your life will begin shifting so quickly that even the air around you will feel different. And when that happens, your loved one will stand in the light of this story, tears of pride glowing from their eyes, whispering, "That's it. That's the one I loved. The one I believed in. The one I always knew they were." And destiny, after waiting so long, will finally open its gates for you. And now, as the weight of everything spoken so far settles into the deepest chambers of your soul in this fictional universe, I move toward you not as a distant whisper but as a force that bends the very atmosphere around you, because the message your loved one fought to send is reaching its climax, the moment where truth hits so hard it rearranges not just your thoughts, but the trajectory of your entire existence. And your loved one stands beside you in this imagined realm with a fire burning in their eyes, a fire they never had the courage to show when they were alive, and they shout through the veil, "Tell them what comes next, tell them the part they've been avoiding their whole life," and so I reveal it, the truth they have seen from the moment they crossed into the light. You have been living beneath your calling, moving through days like a shadow of the person you were meant to become, shrinking your voice because you didn't want to be too much, hiding your power because you didn't want to intimidate those who chose smallness for themselves, softening your fire because others couldn't handle the heat of your spirit, but your loved one refuses to let you continue living in this muted version of your life, for they see, clearer than you ever have, that everything you've been through was not designed to break you but to awaken you, forge you, sharpen you into someone unrecognizable to your past, someone who can walk through storms without losing their balance, someone who can carry the weight of their destiny without collapsing under the expectations of the world. And they are begging you now in this fictional realm, stop pretending you don't feel the pull, stop acting like you don't know you were made for more, because they've watched you ignore signs that were meant for you, opportunities that were sent to you, intuitions that screamed inside your chest while you covered your ears out of fear, and they know the reason you've been holding yourself back. You are terrified of your own greatness, terrified that if you step into the life you secretly want, you might lose people, lose comfort, lose the fragile sense of safety you built around old wounds, but they stand before you now and say, you will lose more by staying small than you ever will by rising, and their voice cracks with an intensity that shakes even the heavens of this story, because they know that the next chapter of your destiny cannot be reached by someone who is still apologizing for their existence, and so I, speaking as God in this fictional narrative, strip away every illusion you've been hiding behind and tell you, Your life is about to demand the version of you you've been too afraid to unleash, and when that demand comes, it will not be subtle. It will crash into your world like a wave breaking open a decade of stillness. It will pull you toward decisions that terrify you. It will drag you out of cycles you thought you needed. It will expose truths you try to bury. It will elevate you above rooms that can no longer contain your spirit, and the moment that wave hits, you will feel something ancient rise inside you, something that has been sleeping beneath your ribs, waiting for this exact second in time to awaken, something your loved one has seen glowing inside you since the beginning, and they whisper now with awe. This is their moment. This is where everything changes, and as they speak, destiny itself begins to rearrange around you, not softly, not slowly, but with the violent precision of divine timing, shifting people out of your life who cannot come with you, breaking patterns that kept you small, dissolving attachments that fed on your silence, and pulling you, relentlessly, irresistibly, toward a timeline that matches the size of your soul. And though the transition ahead will demand courage you have never used before, you will not be alone even for a breath, for your loved one will walk beside your spirit in every step of this fictional story, not as a ghost of the past, but as a guardian of the future, whispering guidance during moments of doubt, sending signs when your strength trembles, pushing you forward when your fear tries to pull you back, because they know what you cannot yet see. Once you cross the threshold you are approaching, nothing in your life will ever be the same again, not your relationships, not your purpose, not your sense of self, not the way people look at you, not the way the universe responds to you, and you will finally understand why they fought so violently to get this message to you, because your rise is not just coming, it is unavoidable, unstoppable, undeniable, and the world is about to witness the version of you that destiny carved from every heartbreak you survived. And now, as this fictional universe tightens around your destiny like a drum stretched to its breaking point, I step so close to your spirit that you feel the pressure in your bones, because this is the part of the message your loved one feared you weren't ready for, the revelation so powerful it can't be spoken gently, the truth so sharp it cuts the last threads tying you to the smaller life you've been clinging to, and your loved one stands beside you in this imagined realm with a trembling glow, not from fear but from anticipation, because they have waited for this moment longer than you can comprehend, the moment where the veil finally tears and you see yourself the way they see you, a soul forged from storms, a heart tempered by grief, a light that refused to dim even in the darkest nights, and they whisper, half in awe and half in urgency, tell them the truth. They've been living as if they're fragile when they were born to be a force, and so I pour the revelation into the very core of your being. You were not meant to blend in, you were meant to unsettle the world, you were not meant to tiptoe softly through life, you were meant to shake foundations, shift timelines, and awaken sleeping spirits simply by existing, and the reason your life has felt heavy, the reason relationships have cracked, the reason you felt misunderstood, misplaced, and out of sync with everyone around you is because you were never crafted for the path you were trying to walk. You were never built for smallness, never designed for mediocrity, never meant to shrink so others feel taller. Your soul is older, louder, brighter, sharper, and your loved one has watched you hide that truth under layers of fear and politeness, watched you pretend to be ordinary while your spirit kept screaming inside you, watched you dress your wings as if they were burdens, and now they cannot stay silent another second. They step closer in this story, their presence fierce and shaking with emotion, and say, stop apologizing for your power, start using it, because what is coming next in your destiny will not wait for you to feel ready, it will not pause while you overthink, it will not slow down so you can catch your breath. No, the next chapter will break into your life like a door kicked open by divine timing, and if you are still hesitating, still doubting yourself, still mourning the person you used to be, you will not be able to stand under the weight of what is being placed before you, and your loved one knows this, which is why their message grows harder now, sharper now, more urgent now. You cannot carry your past into your future, you cannot step into your purpose while dragging the chains of guilt, hesitation, and self-betrayal, you cannot rise while clinging to identities that were built from wounds. And so the universe in this tale will begin stripping everything from your path that cannot withstand the elevation that's coming, and it will feel brutal at first. People you trusted may distance themselves without reason, opportunities that once comforted you may suddenly lose their meaning, habits that once numbed your pain will stop working, and you will feel the walls of your old life crumbling around you like a controlled demolition. But do not panic, for this is not destruction, it is excavation, clearing space for the version of you your loved one has always seen glowing beneath your skin. The version of you who doesn't shrink from the mirror, who doesn't silence their intuition, who doesn't stay where they are unloved, who doesn't fear leaving what is familiar, who doesn't betray their purpose just to keep the peace. And as this transformation begins, your loved one will wrap their energy around your spirit like an invisible shield in this fictional realm, guiding you through the discomfort, whispering signs into your dreams, sending you flashes of clarity at random moments, aligning you with people whose souls recognize your fire without needing explanation, because they know this truth: once you take your first real step into your destiny, the universe will rearrange itself at speeds you cannot comprehend. Doors will open so suddenly you will question if they were carved from thin air, opportunities will appear that feel too precise to be coincidence. And your entire sense of self will shift as you realize that everything you thought disqualified you was actually preparing you, sculpting you, building you, and your loved one, finally free of the limits of their earthly life, will stand in the brilliance of this fictional story watching you rise with a pride so fierce it shakes the heavens, whispering, this is what I crossed the veil to see, because your transformation is not just your rebirth, it is their legacy living on through you.